Hello and welcome to lesson 17 of National 5 Software Design and Development. Today we're going to take a look at running total within a loop. So here we have a program on Replit, a running total program, and all I'm going to do is keep a running total of numbers that the user enters. So let's say in this example, all we're going to do is calculate the average age of all the people in the room. Well, first of all, I need to ask how many people. Enter the number of people in the room. Next up, I need something that's going to keep track of the running total, a variable that starts at 0. Then we need to loop once for every person in the room. For X and range people, we'll do that. Then we get the age of the next person. And this fancy bit here just makes it look neater when it outputs. You'll see that soon. And once we get the age, we add that to the total. So that's how we get the total age. Let's just print that at the end. But how do you get the average age? Well, you divide the total age by the number of people. And we can do the calculation right here. So let's run this and see how it works. If there are 3 people in the room, the first person is 10. And this is the nice output I was talking about. Enter the age of person 1. That's what this bit here does. Starts at 1 and then each time around the loop it increases by 1. And we've got a 10-year-old, a 20-year-old and a 30-year-old. What's the average age here? It's going to be 10 plus 20 plus 30, which is 60, divided by 3, which is 20. There we are. The total is 60. The average is 20. Looking good. Let's try a more decimal type number. So we're going to have 3 people again. 10, 10, and 20. Look at this one. Now this output might not look that great. You might want to round this. So we could use the rounded version of this calculation. Let's try that. That's going to round it to a whole number. 3 people, 10, 10, 20. There we are, rounded it to a whole number. Let's say we wanted a couple of decimal places. Three people, 10, 10, 20. There we are. That might be better. So we're using our prior learning to help us make even better programs. We're just building up one little bit at a time. So the running total is like this. You start with a total that equals 0. And then every time you find something in your loop, you add it to the total doing this. Let me show you one more example. Let's say there are 10 people in the room and we want to ask if they prefer cats or dogs. Let's have a total for dogs and a total for cats. And we're just going to ask 10 people for X in range 10. And then we'll ask what they prefer. And if their preference equals cats, we'll add 1 to the cats counter. Cats equals cats plus 1. If preference equals dogs, we'll add 1 to the dogs counter. Dogs equals dogs plus 1. If they type something that isn't cats and isn't dogs, we maybe want to use an else and just print a message saying, I didn't understand what you said. So now we're keeping track of 2 totals in the same loop. And these messages at the bottom display the totals and say how many people prefer cats and how many people prefer dogs. Let's give it a try. Do you prefer cats or dogs? So let's do a couple of dogs, a couple of cats, another dogs, a couple more dogs, and let's do Budgie. I didn't understand what you said. And we'll do dogs, and then cats. So 3 people prefer cats, 6 people prefer dogs. So we asked 10 people, but these are only 9 results. That's because one person said Budgie. Sorry, buddy. Let's try making this better using our previous learning. Let's do some input validation on the preference. Let's say that while the preference does not equal cats and the preference does not equal dogs, we'll ask them to try again. Let's try this. So now if I type cats, it accepts it. If I type dogs, it accepts it. But if I say Budgie, it says try again, you must be cats or dogs. Let the cats win this time. There we are, 7 prefer cats, 3 prefer dogs. The key point here is that you have a total that starts at 0, then you have a loop, and inside that loop, you're increasing the total by a certain number. It could be by 1, if you're just counting, or in the previous example, we're increasing it by another variable, age. But hopefully you understand the principle behind keeping track of a running total inside a loop. And I hope you've enjoyed this one. I'll see you in the next one.